everyone. Good evening to all. My name is George Duarte from Untitled Consulting. We are here now to present the first episode from the Berry Talks, which are the conversations with leading global players, a meeting place for to exchange knowledge with personalities, companies, and technologies from the berry industry, from Europe, North of Africa, and also from all over the world. Thomas.
Yes, hello. Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm very excited about this first episode of our Berry Talks. And I think we are having a very good start because today our first guest will be Miguel Hermes Ahumada, one of the most interesting and great professionals of the berry industry from the Americas, especially from Central and North America. A 20 years long career to the berry industry, mainly in the work development for raspberries and blackberries.
Hello, I'm Siham from Green Smile. Today I will be your producer, so I will be backstage for this first talk. Hello, Miguel. We are happy to have you with us today.
Thank you, Jorge, Thomas, and Siham, for inviting me to this one of the first Berry Talks. I'm very pleased to be with you guys here.
Okay, thank you for joining us. It's a pleasure to have you here. Can you introduce a bit to the audience who you are? Actually, some people might not know you because you are streaming for a lot of places in the world. Can you explain a bit about yourself and what you do?
Okay. As I mentioned, I haven't been mentioned. I'm born in Chile many years ago, where I studied animal science. But my interest was working with people and not with animals. And soon later, I find myself moving into the fruit industry, where I had the opportunity to study in United States fruit science in University of California, and later doing a master in horticulture there. My interest in berries started soon after working with this industry. I enjoy the work with Driscoll's berries and then several other companies that it took me to explore different format of work where I have been trained, originally training in post-harvest handling. My development took me to understand that post-harvest start to the levels of fruit production. And so little by little, I shift a little bit into fruit production. And finally, years later, I ended in the breeding department of Driscoll's, and then working after I left Driscoll with several other companies in the management of their new varieties and implementation of programs in Mexico. So this was really interesting and for me, and it took me into the new format that from my work from California entered to a work now more international in the development of varieties and later working with growers in Mexico, teaching new techniques in agriculture, specifically raspberries and blackberries.
Okay, great. Very, very interesting introduction. Once you are coming from Chile, what driven you to choose a life, work, or living in another country? What it was driven by you to look for other opportunities coming out from Chile? What it was the biggest motive?
Uh, I guess my experience came as young students when I was in high school. I was had the opportunity to spend 3 months as exchange students in United States. And while I was there, I saw the higher education and specialization uh, as possibilities, greatly possibility in United States with their educational system. So after finish my bachelor degree, I migrate to United States, and this decision, although was difficult, it was also uh, it related to the political situation in Chile back then, where it was a coup d'etat and a military took over. And so from there, I migrate to United States, and as a person that migrate and also being in agriculture already, I thought follow the harvest would be my great motivation. That took me to several experience. Arriving in a foreign country, you try to figure out what you do here with an agriculture degree, and I have landed in Washington D.C. And so I thought, well, gardening it would be probably the only job. And soon later, after living a couple of years in Washington, decide to move to California as California present similar conditions to the conditions that I grew up as Chile agriculture. And this took me finally to University of California, and where I became more and more interested in the idea of doing something different than animal science, and I started to study uh, pomology, which is the science of fruit. But I always try to relate to other fields in agriculture. So when I was in Davis studying fruit, I was working in pathology labs, or then other summers I was working in the vegetable lab, and so tried to become a more round professional with the idea always to go back to Chile. Um, but soon you realize that age pass and your possibility to work in your own countries diminish, while the possibility to work in United States increase. And this took me to work with pears early on time and peaches, and then get involved in the berry industry, and then do several positions with one of the good companies, Driscoll's, Sunbell, and Berry World. And this was a great opportunity to learn something new, exciting, and use my background in technology that I have developed over the years. Uh, this took me to travel through the world and see different production systems, and also start to develop an interest in for variety development. And I guess one of the main luck of this work ended to be that Mexico varieties like Adelita, a low chill variety, helped to develop this industry. And we soon saw also varieties like Biloxi develop the blueberry industry and so forth. So that's kind of was kind of my journey to where I find myself today.
You just mentioned three very important companies as global players in the berry industry, such as Driscoll's, Sunbell, and Berrywood. Can you tell us a little bit more how this experience, how it was for you, and how it helped to build you as a professional as you are now?
I think one of the great impact to work in different positions and different companies, it was definitely develop in a concept of production that it go from the seed or the plant all the way to the post-harvest. And that create a scope that I call, a system approach for myself, where as I see the very industry, I don't only look into what the impact of the variety have in the production for producers and growers, but what this impact is in the handling, and then would be the retail industry. Uh, these three jobs complement each other. As in Driscoll, I work mostly in variety development, and was pleased to work as a team in the developed varieties like Carmina, which is one of the best flavor varieties in raspberries, uh, but also have the opportunity to experiment with trellising systems and how that impact in the production of raspberries as well as blackberries, and so forth. And work that I did with companies like Sunbelt was just in the need and management support for growers, how to do better work as growers, and looking for deficiencies in the systems as well as variety fitness. And finally, that took me to work with Berry World, where I have the opportunity to introduce varieties to the Mexican market. And here I have the opportunity to work as with propagators, with growers, and different scheme of work and production. So it all ended to be super complementary experience that have helped me in better understanding how the impact not only the market as prices, but what growers can do to improve their profits, and how they can see a better fit into their agriculture scheme that they might have.
Okay, very nice background information about your last professional developments. We're gonna do a small introduction for the market trends that Thomas will do, and we come back again for after a few minutes to restart our conversation with Miguel. See you in a moment.
So let's talk a little bit in this section about availability and market trends. At the moment, the blueberries, Chile will go on for a few more weeks in Europe, while Peru is continuing to ship product which is generally of better quality compared to Chile. The season for the moment is going quite well, despite the necessary selection which the Chilean product is undergoing, and prices are quite stable and have never dropped really down to bad levels. At the moment, never below €4.50 per kilo. Regarding the European area, Morocco and Spain are in production with the earliest varieties. Quality is generally good, but the volumes are still not in full swing. And therefore, the market is still interested to keep Chile and Peru in the loop. From Italy, Sicily is about to start the season. The first volumes are already on the market, but the prices are very, very high. As far as raspberries are concerned, at the moment, the product is quite short, especially from Morocco, which at this time of the year is generally quite good in terms of volume and availability. At the moment, prices are quite high, in the region of 13, 14 euro per kilo as a top price. Few volumes are available also from Spain and from Portugal. Some are even air freighting from Mexico due to the low availability. From Italy, Sicily is in production. Again, the volumes are limited and the price is a bit high. And this reflects also to retail prices. We go and visit shops in Italy twice a month. Our last shop tour was showing prices as high as €3.99 for a 125 kilo punnet of raspberries. Blackberries situation again quite scarce, very high prices. The only origin now at the moment is Mexico, and the situation seems to continue for at least another couple of weeks. That's all from the markets.
Thank you, Thomas. It was a quick review what's going on in the last weeks and what's coming in the future. We now going back to our conversation with Miguel. Miguel, I have here a question. Now that you returned to Chile, can you tell us what's going on in your life? What's your new project that you're involved with? Can you explore a bit that situation and explain to us and to our audience what is your future in Chile now?
Thank you, Pedro. After working with very well in the introduction of raspberries to the Mexican market, and most of this fruit actually ended in the U.S. market. Mexico is basically where Morocco is for Europe. Over the years, have been seen as a place for winter production, but lately companies start to see a year-round production in Mexico, and well so, because the different climate in the Mexico industry, it shows the possibility to produce as well as the Pacific coast with Baja California and then central Mexico. And interesting enough, I start to develop the interest for propagation as I was involved in the propagation of Diamond Jubilee, a raspberry from Berry World in Mexico. This soon later took me to the understanding how important is propagation and variety development for Mexico. And I have this idea about creating a nursery. And so planning to my exit from Berry World and chasing players that it could be in the propagation business, I find a Chilean company, a Grupo Hijuelas, who have just acquired facilities in Mexico and was planning to do some raspberry propagation. And that was kind of the beginning of this new project that I have initiated. We are presently propagating raspberries in Atoyac, Jalisco, for companies, not only American companies, but also we have get large amount of contracts for propagation with European companies. And that has been a really exciting project, as we've been very well received. And this is a new development, as raspberries have today become larger in acreage or hectares, whatever you decide to use, in Mexico than in U.S. United States production is declining due to labor issues, and the possibility to produce, as I mentioned, year-round production in Mexico, it took off. And so this took me to work with this company in Chile, which I am now based on. But it seems like I'm living in an airplane travel between Mexico and Chile and so forth. The work is kind of totally new because Mexico haven't propagated raspberries and the root tip system. And that is also a challenging system in the Mexican conditions. But we're being lucky to have an incredible backup financially that we are able to implement the latest technology in propagation, and the company have put resources that have allowed us to produce a good result so far. That's kind of my Chile return via Mexico, that I can say, Jorge.
Yes, very, very interesting. You mentioned a few varieties during this conversation. I'd like you to tell us a little bit more. What do you think about raspberries and blackberry varieties? What about market trends? About truths, realities about these new varieties? What's really going on?
Um, well, thank you, Thomas. This is an interesting question. The situation in the variety world, I think, and it's specific to the rubus, blackberries and raspberries, it was led, of course, by Driscoll Strawberry many years ago. And as the profit of Driscoll's increased, other companies saw opportunities here. And so Europeans have been ahead of this wave, and we have many European breeding companies that they have bred raspberries in Europe that presently being testing in Mexico. I can recall back in perhaps early 2014, 15, the arrivals of the ABB varieties, Kwanzaa, Kweli. These varieties presently on license on Dole open a new wave for new varieties for other companies. And today we see Paris from France also being in deployment in Mexico. We see en Rosadita, and we see in general the market and retails demanding varieties with a good post-harvest. And then we're talking about light colors, flavor berries, and also resistant to decay. So we see these varieties being implemented in Mexico. They are also in the very business other crops making advances. Strawberries always well fed by varieties from University of California, Davis. New varieties like Victor, Royal Royce, and others start to be tested in Mexico. But also we see Mexican companies develop their own breeding programs. We see how Black Venture Farm had released Racket Sally. Another companies like have varieties like Adelita, I mentioned, but also Daniela, a new variety from Mexico, a low shield variety, and so there is a demand, increasing demand for blackberries. Unfortunately, the situation in the breeding area of blackberries is still not quite generalized in terms of varieties and selections. Arkansas breeding program have been successful to introduce some of the primacane for United States, but not the same success in introducing into the Mexican market. And I want to repeat again, this Mexican market is totally oriented. 98% go to US, all the products. So we're still seeing a lot of more opportunities in the BlackBerry Primocane permanently. Also, they're impacted by this presence of European market companies in Mexico as well in US. With introductions of new technology, the substrate growing is taking off with blueberries, but also we see it tremendous interesting with blackberries and raspberries, and the other technology that is coming into play while varieties don't play year round, the use of long cane system. And so here's another opportunity for varieties that exist in the European market that might have been better fit for long canes. And the trend is still there. The conversation is still there by all the players, and a lot more to see in the near future. That Mexico might have those low chill varieties that might also have an impact in different countries of the world, Morocco, Egypt, or Tanzania. So with that, the impact is coming in this development primarily from European companies, but we cannot discount the breeding programs that are happening in Mexico by private companies that they are also releasing new raspberries and new blackberries.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I think we had quite an interesting picture of Mexico as a laboratory and as a supply corner for US. And most probably what will happen next to Mexico will come to Europe. So it may be going the other way around in the next few years. So new exciting times are coming. And I think it's been very interesting for us from here in Europe to hear what's going on in America, because it's a very strong market, and we really hope that Europe will develop as strongly as the US as a market. And this is also one of the things we are aiming to with these conversations, to start new opportunities and make our colleagues in Europe think about this berry industry, which is so exciting. So let us all thank Miguel for his participation to this first conversation. And of course, thank you very much to all the colleagues and to people who have attended to this first episode of our Berry Talks.
That's true. It's a short conversation, but with a lot of information and quite rich information. Miguel, it's always a pleasure. We already know each other for a long time, and we keep it in contact to update us what's going on the other side of the lake, the big lake. And I hope to see you soon. Hear about more what is going on in Chile and in Mexico about these new trends and new updates. I have to remember everybody that we're gonna do this talks. It's the first show, but we want to do this with some frequency. We keep you updated the world of the berries when it's gonna happen the next episode. And thank you for all watching this. And I hope you enjoy, and let us know in your feedbacks about this, and see you soon.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks,
Bye,
Miguel.
Miguel.